Today, we're on Terra's account. Now, Terra is a bit of a special case because I did not initially select him from the application form. However, he's a very active member of my Discord, which you can join at the link down below, by the way, and seeing his account through the Discord and the state of it convinced me that I had to do something about it. Now, that was a while ago, and I will say that since then, Terra has done a lot of work for his account. So it's not quite as bad as it once was, but I still think there's quite a bit to be improved upon here. The challenge with this is that Terra has exactly 0 fragile resin. And normally when I do account fixes like these, I'm using a lot of fragile resins. So we're gonna have to see what we can do for comparatively little resin and resources that we already have on the account. He did have quite a few fragile resins once upon a time, however, they have since all been spent on artifacts for Navia. Now, those of you who know Terra will know that he's a little bit of a Navia simp, more like a chronic Navia simp. So just about everything he does on his account is for this beautiful queen, which, honestly, I totally understand. Terra is an AR-58 player who's been playing Genshin since 4.4, so just about over a year now. And he is a low spender who has bought both the Battle Pass and the Welcome a few times, as well as topping up to be able to get his glorious Queen Navia. And he has never 36 starred Abyss, but he has been able to complete floor 12, which I would say puts his account pretty much on par with where I think he should be at this point in the game. Now, if we look at his 5-star selection here, it's a bit of an odd bunch. One thing you may notice at first is we only have 2 level 90 characters. We have Navia, of course, as to be expected, and we have Tighnari, which to my knowledge is not a character that Terra uses, nor a character that I even know if he's really building right now. So I'm not sure why he's level 90 when we have an underleveled Farina and a Novelette. I mean, even Bennett is only level 70, so something doesn't quite add up here. My initial reaction to this lineup of characters is that we've spread our resources really thin here. We've leveled up a lot of characters at once, and we've left a lot of builds either half-finished or just unfinished. Obviously, we can expect our main team here to be pretty well built. Of course, you know, everybody's got their sets. Okay, not all of these are plus 20. Well, all these are. Shalonen is at least, you know, on scroll, which is all she really needs. And, oh wait, Navia doesn't have her set. Navia is on 2-piece attack right now. And you call yourself a Navia main, and she doesn't even have a 4-piece set. Not even 2 2-piece sets. Shame on you. Well, okay. Then the other thing that kind of stands out to me is that we have kind of an odd selection of characters here. We do have some, you know, really heavy hitters and great options, like we've got a Shalonen, we've got a Farina, we've got a Novelette, but some of the characters here are kind of confusing to me. For example, we have a Shen Yun, but we don't really seem to have any plunge DPS or someone that would really benefit from her. We have a Wanderer named Twink, thanks Latte for that. And we have a Farazan, but she's not C6. We have a built Kuki, but no Nahida, so we're not doing Hyper Bloom. And we have a built Yaimiko, but Fischl is all the way down here. Not to mention other characters like Xiangling, also left down here at level 70. Oh, she's got a Skyward Spine, okay, interesting. Level 70 as well. So if you're paying attention, you might see already that this amount of 5-stars is actually kind of deceptive, because we don't actually have as many team options and DPS options as we think we do. We have, of course, the standard Navia setup, which, you know, this team will crush just about any content in the game, even with the level 70 Bennett and level 80 Farina. And even without Navia having a 4-piece set. okay? You put this many broken characters together in one team and any DPS will do well. We do have a Tainari and we have a Yaimiko we can pair with him, but we don't have a Nahida, so our team building options for him are going to be kind of jank. We have a Shanyun, but we don't really have a plunge DPS to pair with her. We have a Scaramouche, but we don't have a C6 Farazan to pair with him. One team that we would be able to complete pretty well is actually a Mualani team, since we have both Shalonen and Mavuika, and we could probably put together a pretty decent Neuvillette team as well. Same goes for Mavuika. Honestly, we could just slot her into the same spot as Navia in this team up here, and, you know, she'd do just fine. But, of course, Navia is already using this team, so if we want to be able to use Navia and Mavuika at the same time, we have to figure out some alternative team options. So another thing that is interesting here is our weapon selection. We do have a couple 5-star weapons. We have a Red Horn, which is currently on Navia, which, you know, the secondary effect on this is really not that great for her. I mean, it means you get a little extra damage out of getting defense percent rolls, but, you know, her normal and charge attacks are a very small percentage of her overall damage. So it's really just a crit stick, which is fine. We also have Chiori's signature, which, you know, I'm a little jealous of, but this is a great weapon. I mean, it's kind of niche just for Chiori though, which is fine. We also have a Freedom Sworn, but no Kazuha to speak of, which is currently being equipped on Kuki. Which, like I said, Kuki is a bit of a weird character for this account because we don't really have a team that she could be used in. I suppose we could do some Neuvillette shenanigans, but again, it always comes down to the fact of lacking a Nahida or really any significant Dendro options. We have a Kirara. Oh, she is C4, so she could potentially be useful. We also kind of have a lack of really great Animo options. We have Shanyun, of course, which she can work in a pinch. We don't have a Kazuha. Jean doesn't really look to be built. Lanyan doesn't look to be built. And unless my eyes deceive me, we don't have a Sucrose, which is kind of crazy. And then we have some standard banner weapons. Skyward Spine is fine. It doesn't really do a whole lot for Xiangling besides the ER stat and a little bit of crit rate. Skyward is great for Bennett though, because 5-star, high base attack, ER stat. You know, technically worse than Aquila because it's lower base attack, but in the long run better for him because of the ER stat, let's be real. Both of these being only level 70, and especially on Bennett though, is absolutely a crime. And I'm honestly surprised even to see Navia's weapon only at level 80. I do know that Terra is planning on saving up for Navia's signature, so maybe he just doesn't want to spend the resources on this weapon, which I totally understand. Looking at the weapons again here though, we see again how spread out the resources kind of are on this account. Like we have a King's Squire leveled to 80 for some reason. We have level 80 Prototype Crescent, but no one is using it. R5 level 80 Stringless that is not equipped on Official. We do have a couple Battle Pass weapons here. We have Sacrificial Jade on Neuvillette, which is, you know, a great option for him. And we have a Solar Pearl, which is on Hazo. Wanderer is using Sacrificial Fragments right now for whatever reason. Not really sure why. There's a Mapamare up here. Mualani's on Prototype Amber. R1 Pipe on Farina. Overall though, we do have a good variety of weapons. We have quite a few Favs. We even have, you know, some that are at R5. It's just that so many of these are just partially leveled up, you know. Why do we even have like a level 60 Flute, for example, right? Why do we have 2 leveled Mapamares? Like, why did we do this? Just kind of weird choices all over the place here, where these resources could have been better spent elsewhere. And, oh, you have a Thrilling Tales, we have a Harbinger, we have a Slingshot, all great. And then we have a couple other 3-stars that are leveled. We have a level 60 Debate Club for whatever reason. Then the other problem with this account is the artifacts. I'm gonna scroll down and you'll see immediately what I mean. Yep, that's it. We're AR-58 and those are all the artifacts that we have. Not a lot. It may look like a lot, but if you are at all familiar with the game as I am, you'll know this is a criminally small amount of artifacts to have for this late in the game. And it's pretty clear that we've been spending a lot of resin in the Nighttime Whispers domain, which, we get it, you're a Navia simp, we gotta respect the queen. However, this other set is pretty damn useless. I mean, it can be used on some characters, but it is not the best option for anyone. And the fact that up here, these 4 pieces on Chilonin are our only Natline artifacts makes me think it's gonna be pretty difficult to get any kind of build together for Mavwika. Because she has nothing right now. She has a... This is a Jeff piece. Oh, that is one of the pyro goblets of all time. Let's take a quick run through of the builds that we do have here, starting with Miss Navia. 2300 attack, which is absolutely crazy. 78 240, really nice crit ratio. Needs a little bit more ER though, although I imagine Chilonin probably takes care of that, or at least running her with a second Geo. Level 80 Red Horn, of course, and we have, you know, the kind of the rainbow set going on here. C0, surprisingly. Crown skill, expected. Not a bad Geo Goblet. I wonder if this one was crafted. I think it might have been. Pretty good attack Sands for Golden Troop. You know, it would probably put me too hard to get her onto at least 2-piece Golden Troop set here. Really crazy Maiden's Feather, wow. No dead stats and like 35 CV, not bad. Okay, this is a wild freaking flower here. Holy shit. Okay. I can see why the crit ratio is so good. Because these pieces are kind of insane. The quality of these pieces almost makes up for the fact that we don't have a set bonus. Okay, this circlet does not though. Why are we running this? Chilonin has 3400 defense, 130 ER. She is running the flute. So she's not on her signature, so she doesn't really need that much defense unless you really need healing for Farina. Assuming triple defense artifacts here, yeah. Oh, that feather rolled pretty nicely. Yep, nothing too exciting to write home about here. Ooh, level up that skill though, dude. That's where all her buffing potential comes from. Honestly, one thing I would do to this Chilonin, because she has plenty of defense already, is I'd honestly give her Fav. I know it doesn't look quite as cool on her, but she still has almost 3k defense. And even an underleveled Fav gets her up to 170 ER, which will make her a lot more consistent, but also she can help a battery your Navia, who has almost next to no ER. Or she can battery just any person she's in a team with, except for Mavwika, obviously. Just gives her way more utility as a character, honestly. Then we've got our Farina, 33k HP, that seems kind of low. 59, 183, she could use a little bit more crit rate, but she has really great ER. R1 pipe, this really should be R5. I'm debating if I want to go through all of the effort to get R5. I might. Oh, I would definitely, well, can't crown this because she's not even fully ascended. Oh, she's not even fully ascended. And I just saw how much more we have, and that's gonna make things really difficult. Huh, you could fix your crit ratio right here if you just fully ascended her. Okay, Bennett, yeah, 250 ER, you know, he's got the weapon. The weapon needs to be leveled up. C3 only, and oh no. Level 6 burst? Okay. This is criminal. Absolutely criminal. You're a Navia main, and your Bennett is not built. This is sacrilege, honestly. It just so happens that this domain is open today. We might want to go get this. Oh, and we have the materials to level him too. Honestly, we might be focusing on our Bennett for today. These artifacts not being fully leveled up either hurts me. Feather is the off piece here. I wonder if we can get an upgrade. Is Traveler built? Because that 19% ER and that HP would be nice. Let's see, Traveler is Electro. Okay, Traveler's not even built, we can steal that. There we go. We just got like even more ER from that. Yeah, now we're 260. I think these are like our only Noblesse pieces on the account. Yep, the only Noblesse pieces are the ones that are currently equipped on Bennett. Okay. 1700 attack, kind of low EM. 8182 is really good though. Widsith, very nice. She is on a 4-piece golden troop. And we have a level 8 skill at the very least, that's nice. Attack Sands, pretty good. Really nice feather here. Really nice flower here. Really nice circlet here. And not a half bad electro damage goblet at all. Oh wait, we have another one here though. This one's not even being used. And, okay, technically it's worse in the crit damage department, but it does have more EM, which is kind of lacking. What does that make? Okay, 98 EM, and our crit damage took a little bit of a dive. Yeah, honestly, I think I would use that one. I think it's more valuable overall. Chiori, 1100 attack, 1800 defense, 66 205, kind of low crit rate here. But the signature weapon, I would definitely 90 that. And she's on the 4-piece golden troop as well. Seems at the very least we do have really good quality golden troop pieces on this account. It makes it even funnier that Navia doesn't even have a 2-piece set. It all went to Yaimiko and Shiori and Farina. Okay, Shiori is pretty well balanced. Although, why is the burst higher than the skill? What are we doing here? Shanyun I'm not going to worry about. She is on this godforsaken artifact set. Probably because we don't have many other choices with where we're spending our resin. I mean, these are all kind of whatever pieces. She just wants attack and ER, and I mean, she has 2100 attack. She has 240 ER. I think she's fine. Although, level these talents, man. Why do you have so many levels and all these normal attacks, too? I'm gonna take a quick look at the Wanderer. Because I know Terra does play him quite a bit, or at least he did. Oh, that's right. He's on Sacrificial Fragments for some reason. And Yaimiko is using Widsith, and Heizo is using Solar Pearl. And he doesn't even have a 4-piece set either. Yeah, this whole build is kind of a mess, honestly. If we get up on a crit damage circlet, we could give him Solar Pearl, and that would honestly be a great weapon for him. But I think I'm just not even gonna bother. I do wish I could just put him onto at least a better weapon. But yeah, we really have nothing here. It's kind of sad. Speaking of catalysts though, we do have Mualani, only 20k HP. Oh, wait, is she not built? Oh, she's not. Oh, she has the one and only Obsidian Codex piece on the entire account. That is unleveled. Crit damage though. Wild Hydro Goblet for her. Honestly, if you have a piece like this, I don't know why you wouldn't build her. So what gives? I definitely wouldn't keep her on Prototype Amber. You have the Ring of Jiangxi right here, which would be a much better option. And we have old Nouvelette here. 41 to 35. Crit ratio could be better. Crit rate could be higher. Better than some others I've seen in the past. Honestly, for having a crit rate weapon, this crit ratio is kind of inexcusable. Like, 30% of that 40 is coming from the weapon right here. Like, okay, yeah, we have pieces like this, which are crit damage and no other good stats. Crit damage, some HP, no other stats. Little bit of crit rate here, and not a half bad flower. Crit damage circlet is the off piece, we'll say. We have this one right here that is not being used, that has a way more crit rate on it. It doesn't have HP, but there's not really a whole lot of HP on this one. So if we switch this out, now we've got a better ratio going on here. I like that a lot more. That gets us to 90% crit rate at full Marechaussee stacks. And he is on Sacrificial Jade, which does help with the max HP a little bit. Now, Mavuika. Terra did ask for Mavuika to be built, or at least he mentioned that she was the character he most wants to work on next. And, well, she kind of has nothing aside from a leveled weapon, so I kind of have nowhere to go but up. At least she has some talent levels. Well, we can give her the one and only Obsidian Codex piece on the account, and here, she can have a 4-star too. Alright, she's got a 2-piece set. We're halfway there. Yunjin here is built, I'm not entirely sure why, maybe for Wanderer, but also he's not fully built either, so I'm not sure if she's being used. We do have Farazan, again mentioned, not C6. She has some 4-piece VV, which makes me fearful about her ER. Yeah, 240, yeah, that's not enough. Not enough, babe. Not without C6. Unfortunately. I would swap this VV out for a 2-piece emblem. Maybe 2-piece emblem, 2-piece exile. And then maybe you'll hit that 300 requirement. And we do have Hazo here as well, who is also on 4-piece VV. I would not recommend this for him as a damage dealer, which he clearly is here. I definitely would put him on 2-piece VV, 2-piece attack. Jean does have artifacts. Interesting. Healing circlet, attack sands, attack goblets. Yeah, so she needs to be built for use with Farina, and she does have Aminoma, which works. It works for sure. Weapon options here are a little limited, but also ER might struggle without Aminoma. Yeah, even with Aminoma, I would be concerned about 144 ER on Jean. Might want to go for ER Sands here, which we do have, and it is currently on Farazan, who honestly should probably be on a different set anyways, so so she could use it maybe. I am intrigued by this Dia down here. She would be a pretty nice character to build for Mualani. But Mualani's not built, so again, probably too much effort. Okay, I've identified where I want to go for now. I think we definitely have to work on this Bennett while we can today. Because no matter what kind of team we're building between Navia or Mavwika or whatnot, we're going to want a Bennett. If we can at least get it to level 80, that I could be satisfied with that. Let's see what kind of damage this Navia does. Okay, not bad. Fully buffed? Okay, 170k. Oh, hey, we have a condensed resin in here. And I think that's enough already. Yep, okay. Okay, Bennett. Weapon. Ascended. And level 80. See how easy that was? That took me like 5 minutes. Maybe less. Now, we can also bring up that base stack if we level him up. Which, looks like we have the boss materials to do to at least bring him to level 80. So all I have to do is craft some chunks here. Thankfully, we had plenty of those. All too used to farming on new accounts that have barely any crystals, which really sucks. Okay, ascended and just barely enough materials to bring him to level 80. Now, there's just one more thing we need to do to make our Bennett just a bit more useful, and that's level up this burst. I think we can easily get that to level 8. Nice. Level 7. And level 8. Which we can't take it any higher anyways, because we'd have to level him up further. And just like that, we fixed the account. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I'm joking, of course. But also kinda serious, because this little bit of work just did so much for this account. Now we turn to the issue of our Mavwika. If we do want to at least try building her, I think our best use of the rest of our resin for today is in the Codex domain. Really? No crystal flies? You people want me to do everything! Okay, let's see how much harder our Navia can hit. Ooh, 80k, 180k there. Yeah, I'm already seeing her be way more consistent with a higher Bennett buff. Okay, what can we see from this accursed domain? it never gives me anything good on my own account, which means it's probably gonna give me godly pieces on everyone else's accounts. Not quite. Arena seems to be having some energy problems in this team. That may be a sign that we really need to farm for that pipe. Ooh, we have autolock turned on. Oh, hello. Of course, it's on the wrong freaking set. Hey, if we end up getting DPS pieces on Scroll and we get just mid pieces on Codex, maybe we build a support Mavwika and we build Mulani instead. I don't recommend this course of action, but we could do it. It's a Codex piece, and it's shit. Well, that was a pretty fruitless artifact farming session. You know, maybe honestly we're thinking too far inside the box for Mavwika. Is it possible that we just have, like, DPS pieces just sitting around on random sets we could put onto her? Well, you know, I mean, she will crit only once in a blue moon, but hey, at least she has some stats. She's got 287 EM too, that's nothing to sneeze at. So we have gotten a little bit of a taste for the account now. Now obviously, as you've seen already, there's not a whole lot we can do for it because our resources and our time are pretty limited. And while we could spend ages and days farming for a set for Mavwika, that's something Terra can do on his own. So what are the ways we can get the most out of our few days on this account? One of those ways is for sure getting Shalodin's skill level up and maybe even her burst too, so she heals more. Which we have the resources to do right now, I believe. Although why we have absolutely no Natlan drops is beyond me. Seriously? We have to go farm whistles? Whistles? In 2025? The way that this man has 2 of every single one of these infuriates me. And there we go. Okay, hopefully that's enough Mora to do everything we want to for Shalonin for now. So we've got a level 8 skill, and we're just short on Mora to get to level 8. I think I'm gonna mark that as something I want to get done later in the week. Alright, let me make a to-do list real quick, and I'll get back to you. Alrighty, I've identified what we should focus on for the rest of the week. First things first, I think my main priority is going to be with Shalonin of getting her burst to level 8 and getting her Fav sword leveled up to at least 80. Now we do have another Fav sword on the account that is our 5 actually, but is at least level 70, so I think for now, sorry poor Singcho, you do still have a Fav sword. Because it'll be easier to ascend this sword once than it will be to ascend the other one twice, and that's the worst sword anyways, so like why would we waste our resources there first, you know what I mean? It would be nice to get Shalonin onto a crit rate circlet so that Fav is actually, you know, kind of useful on her. You know, that would be useful, or we end up getting another defense goblet because switch her onto an off piece. I think if we did, I would steal this one from Wanderer since he's not really on a set anyways. No great loss for him there. And of course, if we're going to be farming artifacts for Shalonin, we will most likely get some pieces for Mavwika along the way. I don't know if I'm honestly going to be keeping her on this rainbow set at all. Mainly because of my other goal, which is building a character neglected down here, which is Miss Fischl, my favorite character in the game, and I'm very sad that Terra has neglected her because I think she would be a great addition to the account, mainly for using it with Nivelette. So I want to at least get her to level 70, maybe give her that level 80 stringless that no one is using, yeah. R5 as well, hell yeah. Oh, she's C1, that's nice. Get Oz up to level 6 at least, depending on what our Mora allows for. I'm actually just about to steal everything off of Mavwika that we just put on her. And don't forget, we also have a nice little electro goblet that she can use that we got from Yai earlier. So we have 3 pieces of a set here. And, okay, this is a really funny crit ratio. We definitely need to find some crit rate somewhere. I'm noticing as I look through the artifacts here, I think Terra has a tendency to be overly picky with artifacts, because almost all of the pieces that are saved here are double crit. And while those are all well and nice and good, double crit isn't everything. And if you're only saving pieces with double crit, you're really missing out on a lot of valuable pieces that could be used in your account. Still, I do think it would behoove Mr. Terra to open up his options a little bit more when it comes to picking artifacts. Like pieces like this emblem flower, like stuff like this is not bad to lock. You might have a secret double crit piece sitting there, but you wouldn't roll it because you didn't see it right away. And meanwhile, if you do get that, now you've got another extra good stat on top of that you want for your characters. Because, you know, you can have a great crit ratio and everything, but if you're missing the stats that your characters want, they're still not going to be doing great damage. So then the last thing on my wish list is, you guessed it, fishing for refinements for the pipe. I don't know if I will have the willpower to go all the way to R5, but, you know, at least R2, R3, something like that. Because Farina was clearly struggling with her ER in the team right now, even with putting Jalonin on Fav, which technically is something that we can get started on tonight. I don't necessarily want to, but I will, because I'm nice like that. However, I am also nice enough to not subject you guys to another multiple hour fishing adventure, so I am going to go put on some anime and get started working on this pipe. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Alright, we're gonna jump right into things here today because I do not have a whole lot of time before the day resets here. In the meantime, I did quite a bit of fishing last night, and I think we have some refinements to claim for this weapon here. Now, I'm pretty sure we are not already up to R5, but we can, at the very least, get up to, I want to say, R3, maybe? Yep, there we go, 2 of those. And Farina's weapon is now R3. Honestly, even just this should show us some pretty big improvements. Okay, I just did our daily commissions really quick here, and already I'm noticing a huge improvement with Farina's burst. We have almost no energy problems on the team now, except for Bennett. Honestly, seems to be struggling a little bit to get his burst back all the time. Which, he has good ER, so I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe I'm just not used to playing him well on this team. Alright, day reset, let's go get this sword taken care of. Now, that is a 5th Ascension, and a quick and cheeky level 80 Favonius sword. Now we have one of these on the account, so that Jalonin can use it, Singjo can use it, you know, anyone that needs a Fav can have a leveled Fav. Now there's really not much else that we can farm today, so I think we should start working on leveling up Fischl. And we can thankfully take advantage of these sweet, sweet leyline overflow rewards. Okay, what is this guy doing here? You're not part of the ley line, bro. Bro thinks he's in the ley line. Okay, there we go. Level 60 fish. And we're definitely not going to be able to take her to 70 today, but we just might be able to get one more ley line in and one boss fight. There we go. Natlan enemies taken care of. We got a couple more drops here so we can replenish our stores, just in case. There we go, and some extra Mora there too, which will be rather useful. Alright, let's see just how quickly I can beat up the hypostasis. A long time since I fought this guy. We'll bring Farina back for this. Or, honestly, you know what? Let's throw Mavwika on the team for the hell of it. Double Pyro, why not? She'll make it really easy to take care of the crystals. Honestly, this is not even like a meme team. Like, this team will genuinely actually work. Like, double pyro, Mavuika's attack buff for Navia, like, genuinely not even a meme. Oh my god, we almost took out its... Oh, we took out its entire health bar. Okay, great. I wonder if Mavuika's burst can take out all of these. It did not quite. Okay, that's kind of embarrassing. I was getting a little too silly with it, and then I failed. There we go. Alright. And we get 3 drops. Well, even if we get a 4 drop, we'll still have to fight it 2 more times at least, so that can be taken up first thing tomorrow. No, I'm not fighting you right away again. I do not have the resin for that. Can you? What the hell? You're not supposed to be able to go that far. What? Leave me alone. Oh my god. Get away from me, you freak. It's still firing at me all the way out here. Now, Terra did say that I was allowed to resin refresh a little bit. And I didn't really want to do that because it's kind of not, you know, in the spirit of the challenge of trying to see what we can fix without any resin, or any fragile resin at least. Because, you know, if you can just resin refresh, you know, spend all your primos, like that's kind of the same thing. So if we do end up resin refreshing, I think the only thing I would use it on is artifacts for Mavuika. It's unlikely that we'll get a full build for her anyways, but it's just something fun we can do to, you know, try and see what pieces we can gamble. But anyways, that's all for now. I will see you guys tomorrow. Alrighty, we have official to build today, so let's waste no time and get right into it. God, I love to just watch his health bar disappear. Okay, Mavuika, don't mess your burst up this time. Easy. Okay, I knew she could do it. That's 1. And we should only need to do 1 more. Back for more. Okay, that was easy frickin' peasy. Really helps to have Mavuika on the team, gotta say. But that should be all of the lightning prisms that we need. And there we go, Ascension 4 official. So by now, the day has reset. We can go claim those encounter points. And we can go take advantage of our leyline overflow for the day. Ooh, 260k with the Mavuika buff. I'm honestly really enjoying this team here. But it works really well. I mean, Mavuika hits a lot with her Pyro Ring to be able to get crystallize. You know, you've got Shilonen on the team, so she can have her burst back, and then of course the burst can be used for some extra damage, but also to buff Navia. So all in all, it's pretty solid. Okay, now we do technically have the materials for level 70, but we don't have the Mora, so gonna have to switch gears on the ley lines we're farming. Yeah, I think I figured out the rotation for this team. Start with Mavuika hitting her ring, immediately swap to Navia, do the burst. Shilonen, buff setup, because then the enemies should have some pyro applied on them. Then, hopefully by then you have Mavuika's burst back, then you set up Bennett, and you go into Navia and you DPS. That seems to be what works the easiest. Okay, then just a few short ley lines later, we should have all the Mora that we need to bring Fischl to level 70. There we go. Now, obviously, this is far from a, you know, perfect level here. We would ideally want her to be at least at her final ascension, but this at the very least gets her into a level where she's usable in things like Imaginarium Theater, and also gets that 4th ascension passive that is oh so important for making her work. Speaking of her talents, of course, we should probably spend a little energy on leveling up Oz. Now, that means, unfortunately, we have to go run and get some more Mora because we have none right now. Yeah, hopefully 2 more ley lines should be enough to, at the very least, get the skill up to level 6, and then we'll throw anything extra we have into the burst. I fucking love plunging with the bike, it's so stupid. The way Navia also has like 20k normal attacks with this setup is kind of crazy as well. Let's get this to level 5 and level 6. Then we can take the burst up to level 3, level 4, and should just barely be able to take it to level 5 if we do some quick crafting. Level 5! Awesome! Now, we do have the materials on the account already to get this to level 6 if we wanted to, but the burst is not the most important thing on Fischl. Truly, it's honestly a negligible source of damage, but it is still damage that is nice to have, in my opinion. So I wouldn't neglect it completely, but I also probably wouldn't take it much higher. So then that pretty much means that Fischl is done. Like, there's really not much more we could do for this character besides some artifacts. And while it would be really nice to get her some more crit rate, I really don't think it's in our best interest to farm a golden troop this week. Mostly because, you guessed it, we'd really like to build Vavwika. Not to mention, we'd also really like to get a crit rate circlet for Shalonin so that she can work a little bit better with Fav. Which means, if we're gonna spend any more resin today, I think you know where we have to go. But that'll have to wait for tomorrow, because we don't have any more resin for today. So, I'll see you tomorrow for some artifact farming. Alright, let's get right into things today, because we have a burst to level up here, and the day is about to reset, so I'm gonna make sure I go take care of this before it passes me by. Now, hopefully we should just need to do one quick old run in this domain, and then we should be good to spend the rest of our resin today on artifacts. Which we have been given permission to resin refresh up to 3 times. So, we should have quite a bit of resin to be spending today. And hopefully we can find, at the very least, crit rate circlet for our Shalonin, and just maybe something for Vavwika. And okay, we got a little bit more than we bargained for. I'm okay with that. So there we go. Level 8 burst. Now we shouldn't have to level this burst up any further. It's probably fine just where it is. But I would definitely take this skill all the way to 9. Crown it if you can. It is where 90% of Shalonin's utility comes from. Alrighty, now that that's taken care of while we're waiting for the day to reset, we can go use the resin we have already and get started on this artifact farming. Thank you, Terra, for farming some crystal flies while I was offline. Let's get started, and let's hope that the artifact gods smile upon me today, because man, it'd be really disappointing if we end off this week with no good artifact upgrades. Please, 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 show me something good. Give me a good old crit rate circlet with some defense on it. That'd be real nice. Ooh, 3 drops. I don't know who could use that, but I'm gonna lock it. Attack circlet. Technically could be a Mualani piece. If it rolls crit damage, maybe. Okay, something a little better than last time, please. 2 pieces. But nothing worth saving. I suppose if we don't get anything good during these few runs, we can throw all the trash into the strongbox and maybe farm some golden troop for Fischl. Maybe we can get some kind of upgrade. I mean, it's defense and ER, so it's technically a Shalonin piece. That won't do anything for anyone, though. Come on, can we see something good, please? And... oh, that piece makes me sad. Nothing. But all hope is not lost, because as I look at my clock, it is 10 p.m., which means the day is now reset, and we can now refresh our resin. So that is 1, that is 2, and that is 3. Ooh, that felt dirty. I did not like doing that. But had Canover's permission, just want to reiterate. So let's condense these up and get back in that domain. I've got a good feeling this time. I got a good feeling in my soul. Show me them artifacts. Come on. Ooh, we got a locked piece. What could it be? Oh, Mualani piece. What do you know? Wait, it's the piece we're missing too. Ooh. If we get a decent feather, we could have a set for Mualani. Technically, I mean, not all these pieces are the greatest, but just like, you know, just to say we did something, right? Okay, now there are any number of pieces we could get right here that would make me very happy. One of them includes a feather for Mualani, any piece for Mavwika, circlet for Shalonen, anything but these. Okay, we go again. Okay, nothing there. 2 defense pieces. Alright, not looking good. Last one. Can we see anything, just anything at all, that might give this account an upgrade? I don't know if we're going to. Nope. That's it. Well, it is a little disappointing, but it is at the very least realistic, right? We wanted to see how much we could get done with only spending our daily resin pretty much, and the answer is we can make some basic upgrades to things like our character levels and our talents and our weapons, but things like artifacts, that shit takes a while. It takes a lot of resin and a lot of time, and it's just something you gotta work on gradually. Honestly, anything that we could have gotten from Mavwika this week would have just been a cherry on top of what we were able to get done in this account. Because, need I remind you, we basically fixed Bennett. We made a ton of upgrades on people's builds by just swapping around like off pieces and such. You know, improved Nuvalet's crit rate, that was something. We helped Farina's ER problems by upgrading her weapon, which, by the way, we should be able to finish today pretty easily. We built up a whole new character and, you know, got at least some pieces on her to start with. You know, we've done quite a bit. And speaking of Fischl, like I said, we can throw a little bit of pieces into the strongbox just to see if we can eke out cheeky little upgrade for her. Now, I always have to reiterate, I don't recommend doing this. I only really recommend doing the strongbox if you have an overflowing amount of pieces. This is just to add something a little fun to the video for a little extra gambling. Let's see something. Got a couple locked pieces here. Alright. Ooh, double great HP goblet. Can you say Farina upgrade? Hold on. Electro goblet, but not useful stats there. That's not bad. That could be a Chiori piece, maybe. It's a flower. It's got EM. It's got crit damage. It could be her Fischl. Although Fischl really needs some crit rate right now. She seems to have plenty of crit damage. Yeah, Farina's current goblet is going to be hard to beat, honestly. So I don't think I would level this up right now. However, if we're going to level up any artifact, I would like to see what that Mualani piece rolls for us. So, come on. Attack percent. That is unfortunate. But we should have plenty of fodder to take this all the way to 20, unless it does that. Come on, don't be a bitch. Be a nice piece for me, right? Be kind. Understand what I've gone through. There we go. Crit damage. Nice big fat roll. Alright, show me some more of that. Attack percent. Yeah, this is gonna be a mid piece overall. Crit damage roll? No. Okay, well, that kind of turned out really useless. It's not even really a great off piece for somebody, because the attack percent roll is gonna be pretty useless on most HP scaler characters. Unless you're building, like, DPS Barbara or something like that. So it is unfortunate about that. Well, then there's just one more thing we can do, and I think you already know what it is. Let's go fishing. So in order to R5 our pipe here, we just need 4 more of the blazing heartfeather bass, and we need 7 more of the rippling heartfeather bass, and we need 2 more of the maintenance mech. Come here, buddy. So while we're fishing here, let me talk about what my advice for Terra would be for the future of his account. Now, like I did say at the beginning of this video, this account is in a pretty expected place for where it should be for this AR level and how long he's been playing the game. I do want to reiterate, however, that I think this account has a little bit of a problem when it comes to character investment. The investment on this account is kind of all over the place. So the resources on this account have not really been used in the optimal way. And I do know that, of course, Terra is very dedicated to his Navia, and almost all of his resin goes into improving her. And I get having a favorite character and wanting them to be the best of the best. However, that does mean that second team options on this account are a little underdeveloped, at least for the Abyss. So what I would say to do is to pick a second DPS to focus on for a while. I think Mavwika is a great choice. I think Mualani is a great choice. Abyss right now is very Natlan centered, and so it will pay off in the long run to build a character like that. However, he also has a new Blunt, and that character is still incredibly good. So any of those 3, I would suggest taking a focus in and building up a team for. Because even though I did make fun of him a little bit earlier about, oh, you main Navia but she didn't have a 4-piece set, her build is still very good, even lacking that 4-piece set bonus. It won't hurt Navia to... What the hell was that? Consecrated Beast? What the hell are you doing here? Airstriked my Navia. What? Well, I was gonna say it won't hurt Navia, but clearly it did hurt Navia. Well, what I meant to say was it won't hurt Navia to take a break from building her for a while to focus on a second team, just for the health of the account. Okay, I see you, motherfucker. Don't you dare come near me. Pick a team of 4 to focus on, dedicate your resources to that team of 4, you know, for a month and a half or however long it takes to build them all up. You know, we're not just leaving them with bare bones builds at level 70, half-built weapons, half-level talents, you know. Properly invest into a second team. Then, along with that, I would not be strongboxing your artifacts so often. I know Terra does a lot of strongboxing, and that is why he does not have a whole lot of artifacts on his account. And I'm saying, stop it. Chill with the strongboxing for a bit, let a bunch of artifacts build up on your account, and be a little more lenient with what artifacts you choose to save. Because there are a lot of artifacts that you might be throwing into the strongbox that have perfectly good stats, they're just not double crit, or they're 3-line, but it's 3 good stats and only one of them is crit. You know, there are a lot of great artifacts hiding in plain sight, and you may just never know it. Now, of course, you can throw all my advice out the window. You can say, fuck you, TV Rose. I'm gonna keep strongboxing artifacts from my Navia as much as I want to. And I say, that is completely up to you, my friend. You know, I can't force anybody in these account fix or account review videos to take my advice. You know, I would love to be able to. I would love to be able to say, this is what you're gonna do, and you will like it, okay? But... that's not how things work around here. You know, my advice at the end of the day is only suggestions. Oh fuck, I scared the fish away. It's okay, I didn't need any of them anyways. We just need 2 more of the little golden ones, and then we're all done. There's 2 of them! Mavwika, don't scare them off with the bike. 10 rippling heartfeather bass, 10 blazing heartfeather bass, 4 platinum maintenance mechs, and 12 streaming ex-marlins, but we already had those. That was, and I cannot stress this enough, completely painless. Like, oh, Mavwika, where are you going? She just wanted to show off, I guess. Either way, that was completely painless fishing adventure. Like, honestly, the pipe is so easy to get. There really is no excuse for not fishing for it. There we go. We can refine that weapon to R5. I love to see it. Free 16% crit rate. So if you send her, you get to 64% crit rate, plus that extra 16%. That's 80% skill crit rate. Now, you may notice that this account is missing one other fishing weapon. Yeah, we don't have a catch on this account, not even an R1. Which, Terra, you're on your own for that one, buddy. But that's just my 2 cents. So if you don't feel like ever fishing for the catch, then, you know, again, man, I can't make you do anything. But I can recommend you some teams. Okay, so we've been messing around with this team for the past couple days, and again, like I said, this is actually not a bad team comp, but obviously, like, we're probably going to be using Mavwika as a main DPS, all things considered. So, how would I build a Mavwika team? Well, it's honestly pretty simple. It is pretty much the exact same as the default Navia team. So let's say that this is the Mavwika team. What do we do for Navia instead? Well, first things first, I would most definitely pair her with Chiori. Your Chiori is very well built, has her signature weapon, and while she doesn't have the same resistance shred that Shalonen has, she does have a lot of sub DPS potential, and so what she lacks in buffing capabilities, she will make up for in the fact that she does a lot of extra additional damage. Since your Chiori isn't C1, you know, you won't be getting the most out of her damage potential, and I would honestly recommend that if you want to keep using her with Navia, to plan for that C1 in the future. But I digress, she will still work great for now. So then what's on the other half of the team? Well, you have some options. You have a pretty classic option in double Geo, double Pyro, which of course means Bennett has to be on this side of the team. Now, Mavwika doesn't necessarily need Bennett because she does give herself a lot of attack buffs, whereas someone like Navia kinda really wants Bennett. So if you're torn between which team to use him on, I would say put him with Navia before Mavwika. Of course, if you don't want to have to deal with Xiangling or you need other elements, the official that we just built would be a great option to pair with Navia. She has a lot of elemental applications, so she will get you a lot of crystallized shards. This is honestly a fine team comp overall. But if you're taking Farina away from your Mavwika, then you probably want your Bennett to go to Mavwika. So if you're not using Bennett over here, then who would you use instead? Well, I would actually recommend the healer that I use, which is Charlotte. This is a perfectly great team comp to use, especially since they buffed shatter damage. You can actually get some shatters in here from the geo damage from these two, and it gives a little extra damage on top of everything when you're freezing off of Farina. Charlotte is a little bit of a difficult character to build. She does require quite a lot of ER. Definitely a character you've got to be building on Fav Codex, but she is a fun one to use. But if Farina is not with Mavwika, then what are we doing over here instead? Well, probably Melt. Now, you don't have a Sit Lolly, and if you want to invest into Mavwika, I definitely suggest planning to pull for one when she reruns in 4 years. But in the meantime, a Rosaria will do you just fine as a cryo applier. Now, it is little circle impacty with Rosaria's burst and Bennett's burst at the same time, so it may be a little annoying to play sometimes. But it is an option. Now, what about Mualani? Now, Mavwika, I would honestly put as a sub DPS with your Mualani, and you can honestly keep the same exact build and set on her as you would using her as a main DPS, because she'll still be doing not insignificant amounts of damage from off-field. And she honestly has like the perfect amount of pyro applications that Mualani can be vaping all the time. I am 100% certain that they designed it this way, so definitely use them together if you can. Of course, you can then complete your Natlan Girly squad with a Shalonen. And of course, you can finish it out with a Farina to get that double Hydro Resonance, but Farina might steal your vapes. So, you may not want to have her in this team always. Now, Shalonen has resistance shredding taken care of, so you don't really need an animal unit. You can, and of course, if your Shalonen is on a different team, then you probably want to have an animal unit instead. Then you also have the option to play Burn with your Mualani to extend the Pyro aura to make vapes even easier. But you don't have an Emily and you don't have a Nahida, so it's not really an option for you right now. In the future, it could be if you choose to pull either of those characters, but yeah, right now, what are you gonna do? A Kirara? Maybe. Technically, she could work. Do I recommend it? No, I don't. Then we've got the big man himself, Navia. Put this man with Farina and 2 characters that react with Hydro, and you're good, really. I think Fischl would be a really excellent addition to Navia. She works great with him because she has a lot of elemental applications. You're going to be getting electrocharged a lot. And if you want, you can do a cheeky bit of Hyper Balloon, put Kirara there because he really likes having a shield. You know, you can also put the Hyper Bloom character, Kuki, and then this can be a Dendro character. Kirara is, again, kind of the only option on the account right now, so not the greatest choice. Can also put Shalonen on here. Again, Shalonen is being used in a lot of your team comps, just simply because of the lack of animal characters. Again, I know I don't have to keep repeating that, but, you know, it bears repeating. So something like this could work quite well, but so could something like this. And hey, if you feel like building your Dia, Vape Navia is also an option. So with that, guys, I think it is time to say goodbye to Terra's account. It has been an interesting time here. We have, you know, done a lot more than I was thinking we'd be able to do. And in the end, I think we've set this account on the right path forward. You know, we were already in the right path, mostly. We just need a little bit of nudging to the left a little bit. You know what I mean? So overall, I think this account is honestly doing fine. Navia really loves diving off cliffs today. What can I say? We just needed a little bit of focus and direction. So thank you to Terra for letting me take a look at your account today and letting me play around with your resin a little bit for the week. And if you would like to have your account reviewed or fixed by me next, you can take a look down in the description for a link to the Discord server. And if you join the Discord server, you'll see we have a little channel there where you can apply to have your account reviewed by me. Yes, that's right. Account fixes are officially open once again. I know it took a while, a lot longer than I said it would, but it has happened. So open the floodgates. Come on in. I can't wait to see what you guys have to share with me and your lovely variety of accounts. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments. Let me know if you like this style of more, you know, less in-depth fixing. And it's a little bit different than videos we've done in the past. It's a little more of an advanced account than we've worked on before, so things are a little bit different here. Honestly, taking a little bit of inspiration from Sol Luna with the style of this video here. So let me know if you like it. And see you all next time.